Sebastian, thanks very much for joining us here on Air Sports News.
Hello.
Good
nice
to
see you.
It's been a while. It's been 2015 since I saw you, I think, at the sailplane Grand Prix in Wrocław.
Yes, that's true. Yes, but I remember this face very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What have you been doing then for the last few weeks, grounded at home?
For the last 2 weeks, that's not really much happening here because we are busy. I'm also a medical doctor, so we have a lot to do, especially as my family is running the private surgery in the area. There is a system that we are making basically phone call meetings with patients, but there are also some problems that you have to go. And unfortunately, we have a big, it's called for elderly people, hotel or something like this, and care unit. And there is already a lot of people sick in this unit because there were some visitors from outside, and unfortunately they brought the virus with themselves. And this is a big problem now in this area.
So on a daily basis, you're directly involved?
Myself, I don't have much to do because I take care of the most difficult problems. But the easy job is maybe not that easy, but the most of the jobs are done by somebody else. As I have to visit somebody which is suspicious, and then I will go. But it's a big problem in this area now. Yeah, everybody is very scared, especially as doctors usually are already aged, and I'm an exception. Usually, you will have doctors that should already be retired in the country, and they have 65, 70 years. My father is 75 and he is still working, so he's very worried to go to his job now. And but beside of this, I'm also involved in the new project of the Diana 3 glider, and we are still working with this. And this is a good time to do it because engineers, everybody is home, nobody travels, so there is nobody leaves. Nobody is going to any holidays or something, so everybody's working hardly.
Tell us a bit about this project, Sebastian.
This is the continuation of the Diana 2 glider concept because it takes back to 2005 at least, when Krzysztof Kubriński designed an airfoil for the 50-meter class glider. There was already a glider existing, the Diana. We call it Diana 1 now, but only the Diana 2 was a success. This is still in 15-meter class the best glider, probably because nobody is making a glider for one class. Usually there is a compromise between 18 and 15 meter, and the Diana is only 15-meter class glider. Up till now, there is no other glider better than this one. So on this concept, he designed 18-meter version, which is more or less the same wing airfoil, slightly modified, and the prototype was produced in Czech Republic. But recently it has been bought back by Polish avionic factory, and it's produced, manufactured in Górki Wielkie. Avionic factory is well known from making trailers for gliders, but they also make extra 300 almost complete airframe for these planes, stunt planes. And now they are very busy with the new design of this plane also, so there is a lot to do.
Oh, incredible! So the progress continues. How are you directly involved?
I'm mostly advising and testing the glider, yeah, because there's some things to be modified in the prototype. Because this glider I've been flying already in last year's European competition in Stalowa Wola, and also in some spring competitions in Slovak Republic. It was Nitra and Prievidza. But this is only a prototype, and it was not perfect, still not perfect, and it needs some modification in the cockpit and in many places. So many small things, but in the future I think it will be a completely different glider.
When were you last in the air?
Not so far, not so long ago. I was lucky because in winter I went to South Africa in Namibia, so I'm not so hungry flying, and this will be a big problem for other pilots here because to be safe in the air you need to be current, and with this increasing gap from flying, I'm afraid that coming back will be very dangerous for many not well experienced pilots. Yeah, but myself, I was lucky because I went to Namibia. I joined Bernd Dolba in Veronica, and I flew almost for a month as an instructor there. And we also made an advertisement for the Polish bank, and it was a great fun also.
Yeah, I think this issue of being currency across all air sports, it's very front of mind for a lot of us right now.
We are hoping to unfreeze the sport already next week because we have some gliders already flying around in Czech Republic, for example. The activity already started. It's nice weather. It's sunny outside. We have blue skies for at least 3 weeks now. It's not good for agriculture because it's dry, but for us it will be perfect days. And gliders already started. So some clubs are locked because of the epidemic, but some are not. So in the next week they will be opening, and there will be a lot to do for experienced pilots to help others to start flying safely again.
A lot of changes to the sailplane Grand Prix calendar this year announced already.
Yeah, I was scheduled for the Grand Prix in Varese in Italy, but it was the first one to be cancelled. The first information about the cancellation was from Varese, and then sadly it was coming one after another, and eventually they cancelled also the Worlds in Germany and in France. So we have no international competition by this time. So the season has been cancelled already. But we will have some national competitions, and I'm not going to regret this because this is a chance to do something else. And I hope if there will be a possibility to go to Kazakhstan to fly in the mountains.
And the format of the national competitions will remain the same, do you think, or any changes there?
At this moment they are not cancelled because it is still more than 6 weeks. So we are hoping to be perfectly free to fly. At this moment, we have a schedule to get out from this lockdown. And in the first stage, they allowed people to walk now, to go outside of their houses.
Really?
Because last week it was many. If you look at the Facebook pages, many users, they changed their profile pictures to the picture where the policeman is taking a ticket, giving a ticket,
yes.
A fine. That was very common last week because it was forbidden to walk at all. You could go also only to the hospital, maybe to surgery or to pharmacy, maybe to do some shopping, but nothing more. Even walking with a dog was suspicious, because the dogs were walked over by 10 people from the same house, so they were very tired. Yeah. And but next week we're okay to go for leisure, for holidays, or if you want to exercise, there's not a problem. So maybe we will start flying in small groups already. And but the stage 3 is the stage when we are allowed to make a small competition for 50 people. So it's enough for us.
That's really interesting how in different countries around the world right now, we have different situations and different categories of the lockdown. I know for facts in Dubai, for instance,
we are in the country where the lockdown was very serious, and it was maybe lucky for us, but because the government, they wanted probably to have elections in May, so they wanted to have the clear foreground for it. So they locked down the country immediately and completely, and we have one of the lowest number of cases in Poland now. Yeah.
Wow.
But now we should start to live with this virus, and we should open already, and we should take care especially about these units where you have elderly people and hospitals and specialized places. Yeah? Not for everybody. So
it's a unique time. It really is an incredible time. Sebastian, tell me a little bit about your last season of competition last year.
It started with the Diana trip because last year was the first time I could fly this glider, and the previous season Łukasz Wójcik was unsuccessful in Czech Republic with the Diana trip, but I took it and I started to look closer at this prototype because we have still only one piece flying. This is only the prototype. Yeah. And the problem is that this glider was manufactured by some amateurs in Czech Republic, and it was not reproduced. The airfoil was not perfectly reproduced for this glider, so it couldn't fly at all.
Wow.
So we had to work a lot to improve it, but it was not possible to repair the wings completely from the errors. But I took it for competition in Nitra, and then I flew in Flight Challenge Cup. Then I had some. We had some finals in Grand Prix, which was with the Ventus trip because I didn't want to take this not perfect glider for the competition in Pyrenees. And then we had a competition in Stalowa Wola, where I flew with Karol Staryszak, and we made a perfect team for this competition, and we proved that we could still fly better with the SG-29, which is already quite old glider, and this Diana, which was also not the perfect one, but it was flying as good as well as the SG-29 at least. And we proved that it's still better than JS3, which is probably the newest and the most competitive design at this time. Yeah? But in Stalowa Wola, the conditions were not favorable for this heavy glider, and it was not always straight flying, not always very good conditions. We had a lot of bugs, a lot of flies in there, so the leading edges of the glider wings were dirty, and some airfoils are more sensitive to this, some are less, and it turned out that the JS3 is not the good one in this. So we were successful with Karol. I won. Karol came in second, and it was a big success for us. And then there was a competition in Prievidza in Slovakia, where I flew with the Diana 2, the 15-meter version, and this time with Łukasz Grabowski, also very good Polish pilot, and I think in the future he will be one of the best pilots. Now already he's one of the best pilots, but in the future, as he's very young, still very young, so he will be one of the best pilots for a long time. And we won the competition in Prievidza then. Also against the French team again.
Always up against the French team, eh?
No, last year it was against the French team, was the strongest team beside of us.
Good. Well, thanks very much, Sebastian. So when do you anticipate yourself will be back in the air? Next week, the week afterwards?
I think next week. Next week I'm busy almost all week. We are doing some other things, but I hope to start flying maybe next Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. Well, I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say thank you and congratulations on your health work during this crisis, and we look forward to seeing you back in the air.
Thank you very much. See you.
Well, Sebastian Kawa, thanks for joining us here on Air Sports News, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.